1, 2. Let's just do this, okay? Welcome back to the VLS podcast. I'm your host, Victoria. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being patient with me while I took a little break. Breaks are necessary. Not a lot has changed, but you know me, I kind of lose motivation every now and then, or inspiration, or I just don't feel inspired or to talk about anything in particular. Or maybe I feel like I'm a broken record and the same things that have been coming out of my mouth have, been coming out of my mouth. And I want to come back with something new and original and inspiring. And you all know me, my mantra is impact over influence. And if I don't feel like I can be impactful with something that I'm saying, then I'm not going to say it or record it at least. So life is still lifing, but I'm still living. So I'm grateful for that. So last night I had a dream. And I have dreams often. They're typically either foretelling or there's just some sort of message in the dream that I need to pay attention to. And there was a lot that was going on in this dream. I think some of what was going on in this dream had to do with some of my subconscious fears, the thoughts that I have about myself, ideologies that I even maybe have that were challenged in this dream. I don't know if you all get a lot of that from your dreams whenever you have dreams, but I do, especially the dreams that I end up remembering. But the pieces of this dream that I remember, I was speaking with a friend and she asked me, like, Vic, what are you doing? Why are you going so hard? Why won't you just relax? And I'm like, girl, I'm trying to set myself up. I'm trying to set myself up. And I just kept saying that. And it was just like, set yourself up for what? I was like, I just want to set myself up. And she said, well, what are you trying to set yourself up for? And I was like, I just want to be good. I want to be okay. And she said, let me ask you something. She said, what is your legacy? What are you trying to, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to leave? And that got me thinking in my dream, what is my legacy? A lot of times we think about legacy in terms of children or family. And when you don't have those things to be left as a legacy, all you have is what you put out into the world or what you are leaving or how you've impacted people. And so in my dream, I started thinking and I couldn't answer the question right away. I was like, I don't know. And she said, well, what are you trying to do? And I said, I know what I'm trying to do. I can't articulate it. I don't know if that means that it's my legacy. I just know it's what I want to do. In the dream, there was some other stuff that was happening, and it was something that someone had said to me that really hurt me and hurt my feelings in the dream. I just said, you can't worry about that. That's just their opinion. You can't worry about what people are thinking or all you can worry about is what you're trying to do. And that stuck with me. So I woke up and I woke up thinking wow, what am I doing? What is my legacy? Yes, I know I have, this podcast and I've written a book. For those of you who haven't gotten the book, please go and get the book, support it. It's the A to B Journal, 22 Thoughts to Enhance Your Life. I'm working on volume 2. So I have those things. And those things are, steadfast, if you will. They can outlive me. Your legacy is typically something that outlives you, right? But also your legacy can be your reputation. And I started thinking about my reputation. And I know one of the desires that I have, especially even with this podcast and with anything that I put out into the world, is impact over influence. That's my mantra. And I want to make sure that anybody that I come in contact with has an experience with me that is impactful in some way, shape, or form. You know the quote, the quote, people will forget what you did, what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I think that is something that drives me when it comes to creating. And I thought it was interesting how this morning, when I woke up, I read my scripture every day. I read my devotions on the Bible app. And the scripture today was Matthew 6:19, and the New Living Translation was, Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. And it was really just talking about what you're building up here on earth. Like, what is it that you're efforting yourself to create or to build up? And in my dream, I kept saying, I just want to be good. I just want to be good. And she's like, but what is your legacy? Like, what are you trying to do? And when I woke up and that was the scripture of the day, it had me thinking even more. Like, I have been, over this past 6 months, doing what I can to try and feel secure. I remember going back to prayers that I prayed last year where I was just like, man, God, I just want to live a soft life, right? And when you think about that, like, I just want things to be easy, right? I just want to live a soft life. And a lot of times when we think about that, we think automatically like being taken care of and being partnered with someone and being in a relationship where people are spoiling you, or things just come easy to you, and like being in your feminine energy, right? And yeah, that is a part of that is what I desire, right? But being in your feminine energy, I don't know where this myth of being in feminine energy means that you're like just laying back, relaxing all the time and doing nothing. That's not being in your feminine energy. That is a part of living a soft life, yes, and it is a privilege that is extended to people who are able to live in their feminine energy, meaning that they have the type of support where they're able to live softly and just kind of be. And that is something I desire. However, being in my feminine energy and living a soft life does not equate to being lazy. It does not equate to doing nothing. It doesn't mean you do nothing. Femininity is a place of nurture and a place of creativity. It's a place of creation. And when you're in an environment that is supportive of that, then you can be in your feminine energy. If I have an environment, or if I have a partner that makes life easy for me, I should be able to create and nurture and develop, because that's being in your feminine energy. And it wouldn't be me struggling or efforting too much to make that happen, if that makes sense. Even if it's not a partner that is creating that life for you, there are a lot of people who are operating in their feminine energy because their circumstances or their job or their lifestyle allows them to remain in that feminine energy, which is soft, which is delicate, but it's just nurturing and creative. It's not doing nothing. We have to work to create that environment for ourselves. That's something that I've prayed for. It's something that I've said I wanted. And I realized there have been times where I have been able to create that environment for myself, where things have been good and I can just create and I can just be. But then it gets to the point where you do need support. It goes back to whether you need a village, or you need a partner, or you need a job or something that will allow you to be in that feminine energy where you can just be and create and nurture and develop and live out your life's purpose. Do I want to work hard? Not necessarily, but I'm no stranger to hard work. Like, I do want to work. I want to work to create the things that I feel are important to me. I want to be able to do things that bring me joy, but do things that will allow me to extend joy to other people and be impactful in their lives. That's genuinely what I desire. Because I desire that, I look for all these different ways to try and make that happen. Whether that's just survival mode or whatever it is, it's like we start thinking about, well, what can I do? What can I do to be good? Like, in my dream, this is how I was feeling. It's like, I just want to be good, because of the feeling of insecurity that I have been experiencing for the past few months. What I emulate and what I give out and the light that I extend to others, the joy that I share to others, that can't be taken away. That's a part of my legacy. That's a part of who I am. That's a part of the impact that I desire to leave in people's lives. So in many ways, I am doing things to create my legacy. And then there are just things I need to do, or things I need to get in order so that I can continue to create my legacy or leave my legacy here on earth. It's funny because, again, we think about we think about, well, what would it take for me to be able to do that? And I think a lot of women sometimes think, oh, I need to be married, or I need a partner, or whatever. And yeah, that would certainly be helpful if you have a supportive partner. Whoever your partner is, if they're supportive enough of you to allow you to, just create and be living in your feminine energy, then you are absolutely lucky. But even if you are, unpartnered, and you have a support system, or people, or friends, or people who do, support you in different ways, and I have that. I do have a great support system, and you're still lucky to be able to do that. I was talking to this guy, and he was just like, Vic, you're so easy to talk to, and you're so, free and caring, and you give great advice and wisdom, and I really love listening to you, and I feel like I can share with you. And I'm like, great, I'm glad that you feel that way. Like, that's just me being me, right? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, like, that's just, me being me. I'm just going to create space for people. I also feel like I should share wisdom as I gain it. Whatever knowledge I have, it needs to be shared. Giving people a listening ear, it costs nothing. But then he turned around and said, but sometimes I just feel like you have BDE. I was like, well, like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, you just like, you're very like direct and demanding, and you call the shots. And I'm thinking, yeah, I kind of have to. Like I kind of have to call the shots. I don't have the privilege at this time to not be able to call the shots. I don't have the privilege to just sit back and always be in my feminine energy. And that's the beauty about duality, right? Duality means that we both have feminine and masculine energy. Everyone does. And so I said to him, well, is that threatening to you? And why is that threatening to you? And he was like, no, it's not threatening to me. It's just, it's just sometimes it could be a little, it could be a lot. And I'm like, well, that's where that balance comes in. I'm in control of my life, and right now I'm the driver of my life. So there are many times where I have to go in and out of my feminine and masculine energy. And if the masculine energy means I have to make a decision, or I have to, put my foot down, or I have to say what it's going to be, that's because it's impacting my life. I have to do that. If I'm in a situation where I have enough support, where I don't have to make certain decisions because I'm going to be supported, either way, then I wouldn't have to pull from my masculine energy as much. It was just funny how he brought that up and mentioned it to me, and I started thinking, like, I'm a pretty feminine woman. And he was like, no, you are. You're very feminine, and that's what I love about you. You're feminine. I can talk to you easily. Like, you give great advice. You're very nurturing, very caring. And then there's just times where you just have BDE, and I'm like, I kind of can't help that. Like, at this point in my life, at this stage in my life, it is what it is. But again, that's the beauty of duality. It's having both and being able to pull from both when you need to. But would I love to stay in my feminine energy all the time? Absolutely. I want to always be able to just live in a state where I can nurture, where I can create, where I can develop others, where I can support people, where I can, do things that are creating my legacy, and have that mutual support, that partnership, that balance, that yin and yang, where I can, live balanced. But we are living in an imbalanced world. And I just don't want anyone to get confused that being in your feminine energy or living a soft life means that you're lazy, and that you're just getting taken care of and pampered all the time, and hair done, nails done, That's great. If that's the life you live, I kind of envy you, do it. But also, what are you contributing to that environment? Because at the end of the day, that's what the feminine energy is meant to do. It is to contribute to an environment. It is to be impactful. It is to nurture and to develop. And maybe the people who are living those soft lives, they are doing that for the people who are supporting them, and that's why they're able to live that life. Living a soft life means you just have a proper support system. That's my goal. I'm really trying hard to live a life where I can just constantly create and be impactful. And in many ways, I'm doing that with this podcast. And I appreciate those of you who listen to the podcast. For those of you who have purchased my book, I appreciate you. I love you so much. You're supporting me. You're allowing me to create my legacy in many ways. After I read my scripture, I usually will pull like some cards, or I'll pull like tarot or angel cards, or even an oracle card. This is the Intuition Oracle, and it's a deck, but it comes with a book that explains the cards. This morning I pulled an oracle card. There's like all this intricate artwork, and then there's an affirmation on the back. The cards are numbered, and there's an affirmation on the back. The affirmation for this card is the joyful. It's card number 42, the joyful. The affirmation is, I know that the purpose of life is to be happy and live purposefully. That automatically touched me. As soon as I pulled that card this morning, I thanked God, I thanked my angels, I thanked my spirit guides for giving me that message, because they reinforced what was happening in my dream, what the scripture of the day was talking about, and what I feel my impact or my purpose is to spread joy. I'm going to read this to you. So on all the pages, it has the art of the matter, which explains the artwork that's on the card, and then it has the heart of the matter, which explains the affirmation. So I'm going to read the art of the matter first. The art of the matter. The joyful is obviously playful, but she is also one of the wisest teachers to be found. She knows the purpose of life is to be happy. She is the epitome of this truth, the secret of life, and she is not naive in the least. She sees how so many other people refuse to allow themselves to be happy, determined to delay happiness until this or that goal is attained. She knows, however, that she cannot let anything interfere with her joyful state of mind, because she needs it to do her best on all levels. She also knows that along with attaining happiness, the purpose of life is to give life purpose. She tells these secrets of life to her sweet little bird friend, who has promised to ally its purpose with hers and spread these truths far and wide. The joyful wants everyone to do their part to build a community that is harmonious and focused on a path of reaching upward for love, light, and laughter. She knows that life for her fellow mortals is filled with so many sorrows and challenges, but that a joyful attitude is a better use of a person's precious alive time and will help facilitate positive change in the world. Like all animals, the bird can see the energies radiating out from inside a being and knows the heart of the joyful is pure and that she can be trusted. Like all beings, she wants to be around positive, joy-filled people because they are the definition of the word attractive. The nature spirits are themselves filled with joy, and they see even one human allow themselves to feel joyous, hopeful, and delighted with simple things of life. For happiness is found in simple things. By being a conduit for delight, wonder, and gratitude, the joyful is opening a way for others wise enough to emulate her. The heart of the matter. If you find yourself taking yourself too seriously, consult the joyful. She knows that life can be worth living if you let it be. And she wants you to remember that many opportunities to enjoy yourself that exist even when things look bleak and hopeless. When we are sad, experience loss, or are facing difficult circumstances of our own or another's making, we can come to feel that life has no purpose or meaning. But we must remember that happiness is a choice, no matter how difficult it is to accept this fact. The joyful wants to remind us that each moment is a gift and has special meaning. Sorrow does break our heart, but it can also make our hearts stronger by filling them with compassion for others who suffer. Both our joy and our suffering are meant to be shared so that we can comfort and inspire both ourselves and others to go on. We are all in the same situation as mortals. True joy can only come to us when we create a nurturing and supportive environment. That really spoke to me, and it confirmed that I am doing what I am supposed to be doing in terms of creating my legacy. I get told a lot that people get happy to see me when they see me coming. Ooh, okay. People tell me a lot, Vic, oh man, you bring me so much joy. You're such a light. And a lot of times I think, man, they have no idea what I'm going through. But this card reminded me that, ooh, what am I doing? This card reminded me that I am in fact creating my legacy. I am in fact living out my life's purpose. If I can go someplace and bring someone joy, even when I'm having a sorrowful moment, that is actually me living out my mantra, impact over influence, because the people who experience me have experienced that from me, and that means a lot to me. So anyway, it just made me feel good to know that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that the struggle moments or times that I'm having are not going to last forever. I do have a support system. I am loved, I am supported, and I am making an impact. So again, thank you to those of you who have been my village, those of you who have been my support system, those of you who support the podcast, who listen. If I've said or done anything on this podcast that has impacted you in any way, please reach out and let me know, because that reinforcement and that encouragement, like, we need that. I need that. I need to know that what I'm doing is impactful. Before I let you go, I do want to just also remind you that, again, the A to V Journal, 22 Thoughts to Enhance Your Life, is still available for purchase via Amazon.com and or my website or BarnesandNoble.com. Also, I'm really trying to grow my channel, my YouTube channel, and YouTube has finally lowered the standards, if you will. I don't want to say standards, but they've lowered the number of subscribers that you need in order to start monetizing. I would really love to monetize this podcast, and I'm just being honest, but I need at least 500 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. It is absolutely free to do so. Even if you never watch the videos, fine, just click the link, subscribe, and then keep it moving. If you only want to listen to my podcast via podcast platforms, that's fine too. But I would really, really love your support and help if you could go and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I could get to 500 subscribers. Now, I have way more than 500 followers on Instagram, both my personal page and my VList podcast page, and I have way more than 500 followers or friends on TikTok. So if all of you just go to YouTube really quick and hit subscribe, I can easily reach my goal. You're helping me, you're becoming a part of my support system, and you're helping me to create my legacy. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.